The Russia-Ukraine war has entered day 50th. No signs of a ceasefire, no signs of the war coming to an end. India Today reporters are on ground getting you the very latest as far as this particular situation is concerned. The civilian death is mounting, the count is mounting after facing stiff resistance at the gates of the capital city, Kiev. Russia said it would now focus on liberating the Donbas region. Meanwhile, Moscow continues to pound missiles on eastern Ukraine. Relentless Russian shelling has left Kharkiv in shambles. The city has been completely destroyed, turned into dust. Mariupol is being bombed by Russian forces. Residential buildings in Port City have been reduced to rubble. Intense fighting is going on between Ukraine and Russia to capture the crucial port city. Ukraine claims that Russian shelling has left more than 10,000 civilians dead. I repeat, more than 10,000 civilians dead. That's a huge death count. With peace talks deadlocked and Putin's intensifying attack, the world is now only asking one question. When is this bloodbath finally going to end? The breaking news is coming in from war-torn Ukraine. There is another threat coming in from Russia for Ukraine. Let's bring you all those details as far as this breaking news is concerned. It is threatened, that is, Russia has threatened to strike Ukraine's command center in capital Kiev if Ukrainian troops continue to attack the Russian territory. There you go. Those visuals are on your screens at the moment as well. Russia's defense ministry has said that we are seeing Ukrainian troops attempts to carry out sabotage and strike Russian territory. If such cases continue, the Russian armed forces will strike decision-making centers, including the ones in Kiev. Well, it's a warning coming in, a threat coming in from Russia after bombing for 50 days continuously, after killing more than 10,000 civilians, after reducing cities into shambles and dust. Russia now is threatening to strike Ukraine's command centers, and that is a big development that we're bringing to you at this point of time. Well, our reporters are on the ground getting us all the very latest details. Geeta Mohan is also on ground zero, bringing you up to speed with exclusive reports from Ukraine. Geeta Mohan and Satya have reached Melitopol in Zaporizhzhia. They're on their way to Zaporizhzhia nuke plant that Russia occupied in the first week of March. Take a look at this exclusive report.
Zaporizhzhia is a city in southeastern Ukraine on the banks of the Dnieper River. As per 2021, the city had a population of 722,713. It is also the site of Ukraine's largest nuclear power plant, now captured by Russian forces. In the first week of March, Russian troops entered Zaporizhzhia. The fears mounted when on 4th March, Ukraine announced that one of the reactors at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant had taken a direct hit from a Russian strike, and that a reactor was on fire. Shelling at Zaporizhzhia stopped briefly. On 19th March, 9 people were killed and 17 wounded in another round of shelling in the suburbs of Zaporizhzhia. Russian invasion of the city forced the inhabitants to flee the war and destruction for safety. Zaporizhzhia Oblast, or the district, is known for its heavy industrial region. With Russian invasion, the city and district wears the look of a war zone. India Today is the first Indian news channel to reach Zaporizhzhia. Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan and video journalist Satya bring you this report from their onward journey to Zaporizhzhia.
We are on the way to Zaporizhzhia. My video journalist Satya and I have termed it Mission Zaporizhzhia. Why? Because this has been one of the most secretive journeys that I have undertaken. There is a lot when it comes to Zaporizhzhia and in conflict zones, war reporting, where certain areas you cannot go without military clearance or without any military escort. So 3 people and only 2 channels would most probably be the first ones to be reaching the nuclear power plant, apart from the Russian media. India Today and an Italian channel, Luca, our colleague, has joined us, and we are in this military vehicle, which is basically the cargo vehicle, because the officers are in the vehicles ahead of us, and there is also a pilot ahead and an escort vehicle behind us. So it is kind of a convoy, but this has been interesting, Luca. Very interesting, because we've waited 2 days to get a confirmation, to just get a confirmation on getting to go to Zaporizhzhia.
Yes, exactly, because we're here on the street that is connecting Donetsk with Mariupol, which you all know that is a very dangerous place, and the street was not clean. There were fightings here actually on this street, so we have been waiting for 2 days for the Russian army to take the control of the street, and then we jumped on a convoy and we are driving as fast as possible to try to reach Zaporizhzhia, which the Ukrainian state is there under their own control, and the Russian state on the other side is under their control. So we're going there to witness what's happening and to witness who's really the army that is taking that they took over this nuclear base. So.
That while Putin and the DPR and LPR are demanding independent republics of Donetsk and Luhansk and recognition of Crimea, should the Ukrainians agree to these demands, will then Russia leave the areas that are now critical, because they are on the banks and shores of the Sea of Azov and the Black Sea, cutting Ukraine off completely from the waters? So if the negotiations are complete, will Russia then leave these 4 areas on the shores, which is Zaporizhzhia, Mykolaiv, Kherson and Odessa? On the other side, we have Kharkiv and Sumy. So Russia trying to ensure that all borders between Ukraine and Russia turn into a buffer zone.
With no end to the Russian onslaught on Ukraine in sight, Zelensky now has come up with a rather interesting offer for Russia. Zelensky says that he's willing to exchange a top Putin ally in exchange of Ukrainian war prisoners. Take a look.
Nearly 50 days of war and no breakthrough in sight. Now, Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky has a new offer for his Russian counterpart. And this man is at the center of that offer. Viktor Medvedchuk is the head of the pro-Russian party and the most high-profile pro-Kremlin lawmaker in Ukraine. He was finally arrested on charges of treason as he was trying to escape abroad when the invasion began. In his latest proposal, Zelensky is willing to swap this top Putin ally for the Ukrainian prisoners of war held captive by Russia.
I propose to the Russian Federation to exchange this guy of yours for our boys and our girls who are now in Russian captivity. It is very symbolic that Mr. Medvedchuk was detained on Cosmonauts Day. He has been hiding for 48 days, but finally he decided to try to escape from our country. Well, for this astronaut, the famous Poekhali did not work out.
Putin and Medvedchuk's friendship dates back to 2003. Over the decades, Medvedchuk used his friendship with Putin to hold his ground as one of Ukraine's most powerful backroom politicians. Medvedchuk has often visited Putin in Moscow and even joined him to watch Formula One races. As per reports, Medvedchuk was the top contender as Zelensky's replacement as Kremlin's puppet after invasion.
A very close aide in a way, or someone who's considered very close to the Russian President Vladimir Putin, has been arrested here. Viktor Medvedchuk He's been arrested. He's an opposition leader. The SBU, the Special Intelligence Unit, arrested him late last night.
Putin, however, is unfazed, and he asserted that Moscow would achieve all of its aims in Ukraine and will continue its war until all goals are met.
Mind you, yesterday evening I was told that Ukrainian side has changed something again. I am not aware of what exactly yet. But such inconsistency in approaching key issues creates some difficulties in reaching the final agreement acceptable for everyone in the course of negotiations. And until it happens, the military operations will continue until its full completion and achievement of the targets set as the start of the operation.
Они всегда просчитываются, не понимая, что в сложных условиях.
The US continues to criticize Putin for the onslaught on Ukraine.
I call this genocide because it becomes clearer and clearer that Putin is just trying to wipe out the idea of being able to clean Ukraine. And the evidence is mounting. It's different than it was last week. The more evidence is coming out of literally the horrible thing that the Russians have done in Ukraine. And we're going to only learn more and more about the devastation.
Nearly 50 days and counting, the world is waiting and watching. When will this war end? With Gaurav Sawant, Bureau Report, India Today.